My husband is a chef and makes me my food every day. I need to eat well because I'm naturally thin and underweight. I'm still breastfeeding my toddler and I am pregnant. My lunch started getting stolen. I began labeling my food hoping that would deter the thief. It didn't. Eventually, I put a note on the fridge that said, "Please stop taking my food. I am pregnant and breastfeeding, and this is negatively affecting my health." When that didn't work, I sent out an email to the office that read, "Whoever is stealing my food, please talk to me privately, and my husband will make you lunch. He will be glad to make food for an extra person if they will pay for the meal. I won't report you to HR." Ironically, several people took me up on that deal, and my husband made a side business off of it. The thief wasn't one of the people who came forward. By now, other people I worked with had the same food as me, but mine was still being taken. My lunches are always in specific bowls, unlike the lunches others had from my husband, in disposable containers. I still brought food in my own containers because I don't heat up food in plastic. I asked management to install cameras. They allowed the cameras, but said they wouldn't be able to fund them, since getting approval for the money would be difficult. The guys agreed to set up the cameras, using some from home. The thief was a middle-aged woman who doesn't seem to like me. She is making triple what I'm making, if not more. After a week of this, I'd been bringing sandwiches and keeping them at my desk to hold me over. I had the guy send me a screen grab of her stealing, one from each day. Lunch thief was up for a promotion. She's near the executive level, and once you get this high up, the interviews involve execs from headquarters flying down to meet up with the execs in our office to sit in on presentations from the interviewees. I sit in on these interviews to take minutes and flip through the presenter's slides for them. Lunch thief was up. After she finished and was doing a Q&A, I put an image up on the screen. It was the pics of her stealing my food. People in the room started chuckling, and she turned back to look at the screen in horror. The execs at my office who knew my lunches were getting stolen were visibly pissed at her. As turns out, one of the execs who'd come from headquarters was also pregnant, another one had a wife who just had a baby. She was terminated. I didn't want her to get fired, I just wanted her to stop. If they'd ever talked to me, I wouldn't have wanted to get her fired. Aside from seeing the picture in the interview, they never involved me further. Never even asked me to send them the picture evidence for their own record. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She was targeting you. She was targeting you after being warned multiple times. If she was stealing from you, likely she was also stealing from other people in the office, and it just hadn't gotten to your ears. You might have saved someone else whose food or belongings had also been stolen or tampered with. Relax. She's learned a valuable lesson from this, that she's not some super powerful, untouchable, genius-level criminal mastermind. She's just an idiot who had a million chances to stop her petty, hateful crap. Everyone's the idiot here, because that wasn't the appropriate, most professional way to out her. To not be an idiot, you probably should have turned the photos over to execs or HR, and it would have had the same effect. This public outing could have backfired on you. All that being said, this is a situation where I think being an idiot back is justified. I'm glad that idiot got fired. Screw her with a splintered wooden spoon. Overall, she's way more the idiot than you were, and I probably would have done exactly what you did. Everyone's the idiot here. I cannot even comprehend the notion of stealing another's lunch. How does a person get the entitled, especially after several requests to stop? That being said, I feel you could have brought this to her supervisor without the public humiliation. I'm thinking this person wasn't fired for stealing your lunch, but for the embarrassment brought to literally everyone in that room besides you. If you had maybe spoken privately to the supervisor, you could have mentioned that the end goal is to eat your lunch in peace and not have a coworker fired. This happened a while ago, but my classmate is still mad at me for this, so I've decided to post here. I, 14, was assigned to do a school project with Jenna, 14, not a real name. This project was quite important because it would contribute to our final grade for the subject. I kept asking Jenna if she was free to come online to do the project together, and to do the project whenever she was free, but a day before the deadline, and she still hadn't done anything at all. I had done some parts, and was waiting for her to do the rest, but on the day before the deadline I got scared, so I finished the project by myself. I WhatsApped Jenna a long text on how I was annoyed that she didn't do the project despite countless reminders. She was apologetic and said she would check and edit my work. I'm not sure if she actually did this, but none of my work was edited. I checked before submitting. Originally on the cover page there was the title of the project in this line that said done by Jenna and my name. I edited the line to done by my name and submitted it. My teacher asked why I only credited myself and I told him that Jenna didn't contribute to the project. He asked to see our Google Docs edit history to prove that I did the whole project myself and I showed it to him. Then he gave Jenna 0 out of 50, while I got 46 out of 50. Jenna ended up failing this subject as a whole because, as I said, this project was crucial for our final grade. She said I was an idiot for causing her to fail, and she said that she did check what I'd written, but didn't find anything wrong with it, so she didn't edit anything, and that she deserved a few marks at least for checking my work. Also, she has to go for holiday classes on this subject plus take another test on the subject during the holidays, otherwise she wouldn't be promoted to the next level of education. She's really pissed that I was the one who made her have to go through all this. Am I the idiot? You credited yourself for work you did. What she wanted from you was credit for piggybacking on your hard work. Her reasons for not contributing may have been valid, but she should have communicated that to the teacher and to her project mate, and concessions could have been made. She didn't. She relied on excuses in the hope that you could be guilted into including her. She didn't do the work. She doesn't get the grade. Good on you, OP. Good on your teacher as well for checking the logs. Congrats on the grade. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. This happened to me in grade 10. We had to make a poetry book as a final project for English, which included crafting an actual book or vessel to hold the poems. We were put in pairs. I can't remember how many we had to write, I think 15 poems each. Something ridiculous, but I had my half done and had asked my partner multiple times for her half. She never sent me any, and never helped me craft the book. I stayed up all night the day before it was due to finish it, and took her name off the project. Not the idiot. People like Jenna are a real pain, and are rarely confronted. Glad that one of them suffered consequences. By the way, I was doing a project with a guy named C. Once, he sent me an email that was in fact intended to K, which was working with him for another course. I noticed he had chosen the same project title for both courses. In fact, he was just exchanging the contribution between me and K. What he contributed to my project was the work of K, and reciprocally. It was funny to see. My mother-in-law is an emergency room nurse and a damn good woman to boot. She did a fine job raising my husband, especially being a single mom who struggled. The only problem is that, whenever my husband gets sick, he immediately tries making everyone's life around him a complete hell. I'm convinced he does this on purpose due to how uncomfortable he is. Some examples of his behavior, just so you know I'm not crazy, are him screaming all the time, getting pissed at absolutely everything and causing scenes about it, barking demands at me to cook, clean and cater to him, and becomes insanely passive-aggressive with everything he says. In these sick moments, he also finds a way to blame me for everything. After his illness has ran its course, he becomes insanely embarrassed and apologetic for how he has acted. Anyways, my husband has the flu. So he has been a jerk for going on 3 days now. He sleeps all day and all night. In the rare moments that he puts his feet on the floor, he is right at my throat. Where my food? Why didn't you bring the freaking trash out? Where did you put my slippers? Why the hell is the water cold? Did you screw with the water heater? Yelling down the stairs, bring me more water and meds. No please, no, thank you, just demands. It's constant. Every single time he's sick. Which actually isn't often at all, but whatever. So this morning I'm cooking us breakfast because he's awake. He asked for eggs and toast. I hand him his plate, and he gets livid because he can't taste anything due to his nose being stuffed up, and pushes his plate so hard that it fell off the table and shattered, which immediately pisses him off even more, and he storms off without cleaning it. So, I called up my mother-in-law and told her she needed to come get her man-child because I can't cater to his crap attitude and work at the same time. She gladly came to my rescue. But my husband called me a stupid idiot for involving his mother. He has since apologized, but still thinks I shouldn't have involved her. His mom thinks it's hilarious. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He was acting like a child, so you did the right thing and called his mommy. Frankly, I don't care how apologetic he is when he's feeling better. The fact is, he's fully aware he does this because it happens every time. He thinks that because he's sick, he can get away with bullying you. That's not okay, and you had every right to put him in his place. And if he isn't going to show manners, you're going to bring in the big guns, because while he may be okay pushing his wife around, no one in their right mind screws with their mother. It's funny he acts like this since his mom is a nurse. My mom is a nurse, and every time I got sick or injured, if it wasn't really serious, she had a pretty no-nonsense attitude toward it. She's seen everything at this point, and a cold isn't something to whine about. Of course, when I was really sick or hurt, she took care of me. I'm not gonna lie, the flu is miserable, but that doesn't give you the right to treat your partner like crap. Not the idiot for calling his mom. He sounds ridiculous. Since it seems like something your mother-in-law totally understood, and you two have a good relationship, not the idiot. But obviously something needs to be done about his behavior, and I don't know if anything actually got solved with that move. But it did probably give you time to do work, so kudos. Next time offer to take him to the emergency room and get a CAT scan, as his behavior is so outrageous that he must have some serious bleeding or tumor, or a deliriously high fever that needs to be checked out right now. When I was 13, my parents had my younger brother. They only intended on having one child, me, but he was a happy surprise. The main reason they only wanted one child is because my mom is a Duchenne muscular dystrophy carrier and didn't want to risk having a boy and him having it. My brother was born, and my mom started noticing signs when he was about 2, when he went on to be diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. I'm now 20, and my brother is 7. My parents have always massively babied him. He has little to no discipline and does whatever he wants and gets away with it because my parents don't want to spend the entire time they have with him telling he can't do things he wants to. I've never connected with him at all. It's an awkward age gap, and we have absolutely nothing in common. As well as that, I went from being an only child for 13 years to having a brother that required a lot of extra attention, and I resented him for it during my teenage years. Over the past year or so, he has deteriorated greatly, and a lot quicker than he was expected to. He can't walk and requires a wheelchair, which meant giving up my bedroom downstairs after 20 years of it being mine. In all honesty, I find it quite embarrassing having so much equipment for him in the house, so I rarely bring friends round. He's already started showing signs of heart deterioration, which means my parents are constantly worried and rarely have time for me. With the rate at which he's deteriorating, he's not expected to live past his teenage years. A few nights ago, I was doing some work for college. I'm a key worker, so I had just got home from an 8-hour shift and was absolutely exhausted. I went downstairs with my laptop, and my mom and brother were in the kitchen watching something. My mom asked me to watch him so she could go to the bathroom, and I, as a joke, said it's not like he can go anywhere. He's not strong enough to move his own wheelchair, and she told me off and left. I was trying to do work when my brother just kept asking me to do stuff with him. As I said, we don't have a relationship, and I was trying to do work, so I just ignored him. He kept pestering me and eventually said, "Why do you never spend time with me?" And I responded by telling him it was because I didn't like him. My mom walked back in at that exact moment and grabbed my arm and pulled me upstairs before saying if I ever spoke to my brother like that again she'd kick me out. I told her it's not like she'd notice anyway, because she never talks to me. We haven't spoken since and apparently my brother is upset. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Even if you don't like a kid, as an adult, you don't tell them that. He is a kid who is sick, and according to you, has been sick all of his cognizant life. You are an adult. While I recognize you may have scars from your past, it is your responsibility to sort them out and not take your pain out on anyone else. Maybe if you did spend time with him, you'd find you do actually have things in common. You are not a child anymore. Lashing out at a sick sibling or your parents is not acceptable. Grow up. Everyone's the idiot here. You're an idiot for telling him this. Poor kid has enough to deal with. Your mother is an idiot for not having her tubes tied, so she couldn't have this child and place everyone under this pressure. And your dad for not having a vasectomy. What were they thinking? It's not like they didn't know what happened. I understand you feeling angry and bitter. You've effectively lost your parents. But please try to be the bigger person and not take it out on him. It's not his fault he was born. Again, what were your parents thinking? You are the idiot. But let me say this in your defense. Once parents have a disabled child, usually all other children fall by the wayside. The parents focus on the disabled child. This appears to have happened to you. It happened during a crucial time in your life. I am sure you felt abandoned. Nothing can change the past. If you can, please go for counseling. Another thing you can do, try to carve out 5 minutes here and there to interact with your brother. Don't do it for your parents. Do it for yourself and your brother.